Hello folks and welcome to the Vertigo Tea Party and my review of Driftmoon. What is Driftmoon? Driftmoon is an old school indie RPG that was released on February 25th of 2013. It's created by Instant Kingdom, which is a husband and wife team from Finland. They do have a demo available on their website, instantKingdom.com. Lets you try out the first hour or so of the game. It's purchasable on their site as well as Desura and other digital distributors. It's available for a limited time for about $12 and will eventually go for $15. They're currently donating 15% of the profits to the Red Cross. There's 4 difficulties to choose from. I played on the default, which is the second easiest. It has a very simple stat and skill system. You can choose new abilities via a standard talent tree. You get 1 talent point per level. You also get 1 stat point per level to put into strength, agility, dexterity, constitution, or intelligence. There's no classes or magic. It's mostly melee or bow, but later on you do get a staff that will shoot fire or ice bolts. Combat is a simple affair. You auto-attack targeted enemies and you can use special attacks such as a shield bash or arrow rain by expending mana. You do get allies, but other than outfitting them with weapons and armor, you get no direct control over them in combat. They can't die, they become dazed when they run out of hit points, and they'll recover once out of combat. For those who are looking for deeper combat and multiple varied classes, you may be disappointed in this particular facet of Driftmoon. There's also a crafting system which allows you to create your own arrows, health potions, and other items from materials you find in the world. This becomes very handy, and I used it quite often. Driftmoon is a very charming world. It's full of interesting characters and amusing, quirky dialogue. The story is quite enjoyable. Some interesting time travel components which I did not expect, but I really enjoyed the way that they were used. Characters around the world are referenced in other areas by NPCs, books, and quests. It really gives a feel that everything's tied together. NPC Joe Bob doesn't exist solely to sell you arrows and health pots. He has a history and a family. This doesn't apply to every single NPC, but a good number of them have backstories or tie-ins with other places or people. You gain karma for helping NPCs, which in turn can get you lower prices at shops. There's also a talent which will give bonus strength to your allies if you have a higher karma. Items frequently have flavor text on them describing their histories, previous owners, etc. I really like this. This is a nice touch that's missing from a lot of newer RPGs. It makes you feel like that item has a history. It wasn't just laying there for you to pick up. There's 2 types of hidden items: silver feathers, which give you extra mana for each one that you pick up, and goldfish, which give you kind of semi-random bonuses like extra XP, extra stat point, extra talent points, etc. There are several puzzles which you encounter during your travels. None of them were overly difficult, and they were fun to do. The only one I had an issue with was a turnstile puzzle, which did get a bit frustrating due to how you had to solve it. Aside from that, I enjoyed them. Choices you make, including how you choose to complete a quest, can affect how some things turn out later. It doesn't appear to be huge. For example, a town doesn't get blown off the map because of how you chose to finish a quest, but it is noticeable. There are not a lot of armor or weapon choices that I was able to find. There's a clear weapon and armor progression, but there are items out there that give you trade-offs. For example, a ring that takes off 2 constitution but gives you 2 strength and 2 intelligence. There's a cool sacrifice mechanic where you can improve some items at the expense of other things. I don't want to get into spoiler territory, but those things can be significant. Unfortunately, this only shows up near the end of the game, but when it does, it's still really neat. It took me about 11 to 12 hours to beat this, with lots of exploration and making sure to finish all of my quests. This may be short for those who are accustomed to 40+ hour long RPGs, but it is longer than several AAA titles. It does have mods, which have extra content or can change things in the game. For example, there's a mod that will change spiders into cuter enemies with googly eyes, for those of you with a strong displeasure for the 8-legged enemies. The graphics look a bit dated, but they're not bad by any means. They display what they need to and they're not distracting. I found them quite charming. If you're a graphics junkie, this may bother you. I'm not, so it didn't. I mean, I drool over Crisis level visuals as much as the next guy, but they aren't my #1 priority. The music is really good. It's fitting in the most areas that you find it. Sound effects were also good. Not much else to say about that. So what are my final thoughts on Driftmoon? My final thought is that Driftmoon is awesome. You have feel-good movies. To me, this is a feel-good game. I simply felt happy while I was playing. It's hard to describe beyond that. The simpler mechanics led to a more relaxed playstyle. I wasn't fretting that I didn't pick optimal stats or talents. I chose what I wanted to pick based on what sounded the most interesting, not necessarily what made me more powerful. It's a very fun, charming, and quirky world with a lot of humorous writing, interesting, lovable characters. Now, don't misunderstand, there are some darker moments, and you can always boost or lower the difficulty at any time. So for those wanting more of a challenge, you definitely can bump it up. There are also things that I would change. For example, a little bit better of an inventory system, in particular, a paper doll for your playable character. Also, some more loot options, as those were pretty sparse. Overall, it was an enjoyable, charming experience that I recommend to all RPG fans. My rating on a scale of 1 to 10 would be an 8. It's great fun for long-time RPG players. It's also a good starting point for someone who is new to the genre. There is a demo available at InstantKingdom.com, so if you aren't convinced, you can give it a shot while sipping on your evil berry tea. If you like it, please vote for it on Steam Greenlight. I'll have links below to everything that I've mentioned. And I want to thank you guys for watching. If you've tried the game, please leave comments below. Let me know what you've thought of it. Also, let me know what you've thought of this review, and I will see you next time.